Hello everyone, and welcome back to Three-Legged Dog Yoga. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. As always, I am Lindsay, this is Chewy, and today's class is a beginner to intermediate flow. So if you are a beginner, it might be a little bit of a struggle for you, but it should be okay. I will be using some blocks to cue some blocks for some of the more advanced poses. So you should be able to get into them if you are a beginner, however it might be a little fiery for you. Always fun to try though, and then obviously suitable for anyone that's intermediate. That being said, if you do have some blocks, grab those now and we'll get right to it. We'll begin today at the top of the mat. Let's keep our blocks on either side, keep them close by, and we'll just start standing nice and tall in Tadasana. So feet are engaged with the floor, pressing out and up through the feet. The knees stay gently bent, reaching all the way up to the top, to the crown of the head, stays nice and lifted, shoulders are rolled back. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here, just trying to slow down the breathing. Starting to feel that air flow in and out of the body. And starting to arrive in your practice today. Awesome, we'll start moving, reach the arms up overhead, look up. On the inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, look up. Exhale, step it back. Come down all the way to the knees and down to the belly. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Send those hips up to the sky. We'll start in our downward dog by pedaling out the feet, reaching the heels towards the floor, one at a time, and then bending through the opposite knee. Just finding whatever movements you need today to wake up the body, maybe shifting a little side to side. And then eventually finding some stillness in your downward facing dog. Not worrying about the heels touching the floor or the mat. It doesn't happen for all of us, and it takes time. I'm just breathing here. Reaching away with the hands and the heels of the feet and sending those hips up nice and high. On the inhale, gaze between the hands, step or hop up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. One more just like that. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. This time, let's step back and we'll stay up off the knees, come down through your chaturanga, and upward facing dog. Finding your way back to downward facing dog. And we'll just stay in stillness here. Just breathing for a few deep breaths. And on the gaze, let's look between the hands, step or hop up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Awesome. Let's take a big step back with the right foot, coming into our warrior two stance. So heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Take a big inhale, reach the arms out nice and wide. Exhale, sink into those hips. Reaching the fingertips towards opposite edges of the wall. Opposite edges of the mat, rather. Or wall, whatever works. Might work in your case. And reaching that crown up nice and tall. We'll stay one more big deep breath. And then on the exhale, drop that right hand, reach up and over with that left. Trying not to keep that right hand on the knee, either above or below. And keeping the breath nice and bright here. And then inhale, reach the arms back up, straighten that front leg. Send the hips back, Drop that left hand down for triangle. Reaching the right arm up towards the sky. And a little micro bend in that left knee. And our body's trying to stay in one plane here. So we're not falling forward with that right shoulder. And inhale, come all the way back up. Cartwheel the hands, we'll come down through vinyasa. And we'll meet again in downward facing dog. Just taking one breath here. And then on the inhale, step that right foot up, pivot on the left, cartwheel the hands up, coming into our warrior two, on the right side. So gazing over that front middle finger, squeezing those thighs in together, the inner thighs. Keeping a nice strong core. And then on the exhale, drop that left hand down, reach the right arm up and over. Keeping the breath nice and bright, that right shoulder stays open. Reaching the right armpit up towards the sky. And inhale, straighten the leg. Reach that right arm forward, send the hips back. Drop that right arm down, coming into our triangle on the opposite side. Same thing here, keep that body, that upper body, the torso in one nice plane as if you're in between two walls or two plates of glass. Whatever you'd like to imagine. And then inhale, cartwheel the hands up, and we'll come down through vinyasa. Meeting again in downward facing dog. Taking one breath here. And then on the inhale, let's hop to the top of our mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way up. Hands through heart center. Awesome. Just taking a moment in Tadasana. Reset here. Let's inhale. That right foot back, pivot on the feet. So our feet are parallel with the short edge of the mat. Hands come to the hips. Take a big inhale and roll the shoulders back. And exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Reaching for opposite toes. Take an inhale, lift. And exhale, sink down into it. Keeping the breath nice and bright. Nice deep breaths here. And then we'll inhale, hands come just underneath the head. Let's grab one of our blocks. We're just gonna walk it over to the right hand side, pivot that right foot, bend into the knee, and then we're gonna reach that left arm up and over for extended side angle on the right side. So you might wanna play with the height of the block here, whatever works for you, making sure we're not crunching that whole upper body in. So keeping a nice long line from that left foot out to the right fingertips. And last breath here. And then as we exhale, we'll just sweep the hands down, pivot on the feet, and switch sides. Inhale that left arm up and over. And trying to keep that block similar to where it was before. So if you have it really high on one side, it's best to keep it high on the other side just to balance the body out. And then once one side is ready to go lower, or once both sides are ready to go lower, you go lower. It's gonna be nice and balanced here. And then release the block. Inhale, come back up through center, pivot those feet back. And we'll just scooch them in a little bit. Point the toes out to the top corners of the mat, and then we'll just sink into our hips for goddess pose. Arms come out wide, and cactus arms. And you can just shift the weight from side to side here. And then we'll find some stillness for a few breaths. Feeling the burn in those quads. Last breath here. And then inhale. Step it up. We'll just take a moment here. Maybe shake the hips out before we start moving again. Awesome. So let's widen the feet a little bit. You might want to keep the toes pointed out in the same direction, and you may want your block for this. So we're just going to inhale, stand up nice and tall. And then exhale, we're going to reach down for skandasana. So if your hips don't quite make it to the floor, you can just plop the block underneath and sit up on the block. Once you're there, open the arms out nice and wide. Keeping the breath nice and full here. If you're able to get the sit bones to the floor, by all means, go there. And one more breath here. Shining that heart nice and bright. And then let's press through that right leg to get us up. And we'll shift over to the opposite side. Just sliding that block over if you're using the block. And then same thing here, left arm, left shoulder hooks into the left leg. And then big inhale with that right arm. Opening up that chest nice and wide. Keeping the breath nice and bright here. We're not struggling, we're not straining. And then as we exhale, let's release that leg. Wait for the inhale, press back up through center. We'll just shift our block to the side. Hands to the hips. And then inhale, come all the way up. We'll just step to the top of our mat. Awesome. Let's take a moment in Tadasana again here. Checking in with the breath. Feeling anything that's going on in the body, any heat that we've built. All right, let's shift the weight into that left foot and start lifting that right foot off the floor. Find a nice spot to gaze, take a big inhale, and then exhale, we hinge forward for our warrior three, reaching that foot out behind you. If you need the blocks here, you can just put them both underneath your shoulders, or if you're on the intermediate phase, a bit more strength here, just keep the hands either at heart center or reaching out ahead of you. Whatever it is, we're trying to keep those hips nice and square. The left leg is keeping us lifted, and our breath stays strong. And then you might want to grab your blocks for this one. We're going to come into half moon. So let's either place, I'm going to move that one out of the way. Let's either place our left hand on the block or on the floor. As we inhale, let's roll that right hip open and reach up. It's all right if you fall. Reach up towards the sky with that right foot. So what the idea here is we're trying to stack the hips and the shoulders. Easier said than done, but that's what comes with practice. So finding a nice spot to gaze, keeping this nice and strong. And then on the inhale, bend into that back knee. We'll slowly start drawing it into the chest. And as we do, start standing up, try to keep the balance. Once you stand up, let's try and catch that right foot with that left hand. And when we do, extend that leg ahead of you. Whew. And then possibly reach that right arm behind you, gazing anywhere that feels comfortable, maybe eventually looking over that right shoulder. And then exhale, let's just drop that foot down. Awesome. Give your body a little shake. And we'll set up for the other side. So let's just make sure our blocks are within reach here. So let's shift our weight into the right foot this time. On the inhale, let's bend into that left knee. Exhale, we hinge forward, possibly reaching for those blocks to get us set up. Get a nice strong base here. And then again, finding whatever version of this posture you'd like to do. And just keeping a nice, strong base here. And then as we exhale, let's reach down towards that block. Inhale, start rolling that left hip up and over the right, feeling the shakes. And then eventually opening those arms up nice and wide. You may want to move the block a little bit over to your right side, or if you're touching the floor, you might want to reach a little bit over to your right side. Gives you a bit more balance. Wherever you are, keeping the breath nice and bright. All right, let's get ready for the other side. So on the inhale, let's bend into that left leg. Slowly pendulum yourself up to standing. And then we'll try to catch the left foot this time with the right hand. Kick that foot out ahead of you and wait for the inhale and twist to the left side. Keeping that torso nice and tall here. And then on the exhale, slowly drop the foot. Awesome work. So let's move our blocks out of the way here. Take a big inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Exhale, heel to those feet just a little bit wider. Once again, toes are pointed to the top corners of the mat. And then big inhale, exhale. Start sinking down into your yogi squat malasana. Maybe giving yourself a little shuffle once you get there, just opening up those hips. And then eventually finding some stillness, sitting up nice and tall. And then on your exhale, just roll back, come right into our Navasana boat pose. If you can straighten the legs, go ahead and straighten them. If not, you can stay right here. And if this is a little bit too much, you can always grab the back of the thighs. So whatever your version of this, stay for another 2 breaths. And then exhale, drop the feet down. Let's just shift the sit bones a bit back. And then let's bring our right foot just into the sole of the right foot into the left thigh. Take a big inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to reach our chest towards our shin here. So towards our thigh rather. And on the exhale, release down for Janu Shirshasana. Keeping that breath nice and bright here. Front toe stays flexed, drawing that belly towards the thigh. Inhale to come out of it. Let's place our hand behind us, about a hand's distance. Wait for your next inhale. Sweep that left arm up and over, and reach over that shoulder. And exhale, come back through seated, and we'll switch sides. Awesome. So straighten the right leg, left foot tucks into the right thigh. Big inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Reach for that foot. Doesn't matter if you can reach the foot, if you have a strap, that also works. I didn't tell you to grab your straps today, but if you do have one for future reference, it's always good to have. Inhale brings you lift, and exhale, Come a bit deeper into it. One more breath here. And then on the inhale, let's reach that left hand behind us. Come all the way up and over. Reaching that right arm out nice and wide. And exhale. Come back down. Awesome. Let's just come all the way down to our backs here. Bring the feet in so that we can touch the heels with the fingers. We're going to come into our bridge posture. So we'll start by rolling onto the shoulders, coming off of the nape of the neck. And then we'll slowly inhale those hips up to the sky. And as we do so, we squeeze the knees together, maybe clasping the hands behind the back. Finding somewhere you can breathe nice and big, nice and deeply here. And on the exhale, slowly come out, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Awesome. Let's just heel toe the feet out nice and wide, drop the knees together for a moment. And then on the inhale, let's bring our knees to our chest. Reach the arms out nice and wide, and we'll just let the knees fall where they may, over to the right-hand side. Not worrying too much about where they fall or how they look. It's coming into a very gentle, very natural twist. And then inhale, knees come back up through center, and we'll just let them fall to the opposite side. You may need to shuffle the hips slightly to the right-hand side. Option to look over that right shoulder. Wherever you are, keeping that right shoulder blade pressed down towards the floor. And then on the inhale, coming back up through center, shifts the hips back to neutral. Let's give ourselves a big hug here. And then we'll slowly rock our way up to seated, coming all the way up to cross leg. Cross leg version of your preference. Closing the eyes, sitting up nice and tall. And we'll close our practice today with one nice big sigh. So exhale all the air out. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Opening the eyes if they were closed. That is all for today's practice. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.